In thinking about what I would say before all of you to honor Dr. King, I knew that I could not talk about the Black experience because it is one that I have not lived. I can only talk to you about my experience as a Latina. My parents have lived in this country close to 25 years now, leaving my two brothers behind in the Dominican Republic. Before I was born, my parents made the difficult decision to risk their lives, embarking on the dangerous journey to the United States in hopes of building a better life for our family. When my sister and I were young, we went with my dad to the Dominican Republic. It was the first time I met my brothers. My mom stayed here so that she can become a resident and then bring the rest of our family to Boston. After living in the Dominican Republic for 2.5 years, we returned to Boston so that I could start school. Living in DR, growing up speaking Spanish, dancing bachata and merengue, Boston did not feel like home. I love the Dominican Republic as if I was born there. However, I learned to love this country through the doors of opportunities that were open for my family. The first door was when my dad and my brothers got their visas, and my family was reunited once again. Then they all became residents. I will never forget when my parents became citizens. My mother's smile was brighter that day than it had ever been. I saw a weight lifted. Mommy and Papi were relaxed, confident, and ambitious in their goals. I could tell at that very moment that Boston felt like their home as well. I really started to believe what my parents had told me my whole life. America is where opportunities are attainable. In the summer of 2013, when the jury acquitted George Zimmerman for the murder of Trayvon Martin, I was upset and extremely confused. How did a teenage boy possess enough of a threat that George Zimmerman felt that he needed to kill him? It still doesn't make any sense to me. After Zimmerman's acquittal, I began to question how this happened in the greatest country, the land of opportunity. Is America really a great country? In September of that year, my brothers bought their first home. A few months later, my parents also bought their first home as my sister and I continued our college education. The American dream was coming to fruition for my family, and I could not be any happier to live in the United States. Amidst all the success and joy, I was conflicted. How could the same country that has opened so many doors for me and my family fail at justice? The night of November 24th, 2014, it was announced that Officer Darren Wolfen would not be indicted for the murder of Michael Brown. The whole day I was nervous, anxious, and a little bit excited for the decision to be released. After Trayvon Martin's death, there was no way that the same thing would happen. I had hoped that there would be justice for Mike Brown. When the non-indictment decision was released, I was numb. The next morning, a few of my peers and I woke up early to post pictures of Mike Brown throughout campus that said, "My name is Mike Brown and my life matters." Within 20 minutes of having put them up, they were taken down. Campus was full of jokes, insensitivity, and racism. My peers took Mike Brown's last minutes on Earth and turned it into a drinking game. How quickly can he take 6 shots? The number of bullets that pierced Mike Brown's body. Overnight, Holy Cross, my home away from home, a place deeply committed to social justice, no longer felt that way. Our mission statement calls us to engage in dialogue about basic human questions. Instead of being men and women for and with others, we turned our back on dialogue. These issues extend beyond Holy Cross. As a Latina, an American, and a human being, I care about others. I care about the unarmed Black men who have been killed in this country. I worry that in 28 hours, another unarmed Black man will be murdered. And I need all of you to care too. My call to you today is this. Rather than mocking, picking sides, or thinking that it's not your issue, have empathy, build community, fight for justice. For it is not up to any of us to make judgment on something that we have not lived. It is, however, our duty as human beings and allies to talk about these issues that will lead us to understanding and transformation. I am hopeful that many of us, especially students, are realizing the power that we have. We need to use our collective voice and stand in solidarity. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Do not remain silent. Speak out. Listen. Ask more. Although much of American history is disheartening and discouraging, our history is also rich with social movement and activism. This country that I have grown to love, with all of its complications, is traveling on a long road bending towards justice, equality, and opportunity. Change happens through dialogue and empathy. We must start there. We have work to do, but we have what it takes. Join me in choosing empathy over isolation, justice over injustice, and love over hate. Dr. King reminds us, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Thank you.